Hey, good evening. Happy Sunday. Welcome to my regular Sunday evening meditation class. It is a sincere privilege and honor to get to be here with you. If we haven't met before, my name is Kay. I'm an ecstatic life coach and yogi, spirit guide. And we gather in this space each week to work on our own personal development and growth and coming home to ourselves and evolving into the best people that we can be. So it's a sincere privilege and honor to share space with you. One of the things I've really been enjoying doing at the beginning of these classes lately has been doing some chanting. So we're going to do that for a few minutes. You're welcome to chant along with me. You're welcome to just sit in silence and absorb. If that feels better for you, by all means, please do not feel obligated to vocalize in any way if that feels awkward or uncomfortable for you. But today we're going to start with some mantra for Ganesh. Ganesh has not been somebody I think we've talked about in these meditation classes yet. I love Ganesh. He is the elephant-headed deity. Here's a very heavy statue I have of him. Jai Ganesh. He officiated our wedding, this little statue. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. He is considered the remover of obstacles. He is considered the guardian of doorways and temples and the great god of beginnings. So as we are working on healing and coming home to ourselves and removing those obstacles that keep us from our most joyful, most contented, most ecstatic state of being, working with Ganesh and invoking his bust through anything sort of energy can be a really powerful thing to do. So we're going to start today with a chant to Ganesh. The mantra that we're going to be chanting is Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Om Victorious Ganesh, Victorious Ganesh. Then we name his parents Mata Teri Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. So Mother Parvati, Father Shiva, Mahadeva. And then we just repeat that in some variations. So we'll be doing this for a few minutes. If you want to tune back in a few minutes when we're done and you just want to hear the talking, that's fine. Otherwise, please relax, enjoy some mantra, chant along if you're up for it. And let's have some fun. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Namaste. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Jai Ganesha Hari Deva. Jai Ganesha Hari Deva. Hari Deva Shri Mahadeva. Hari Deva Shri Mahadeva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Jai Ganesha Hari Deva. Jai Ganesha Hari Deva. Hari Deva Shri Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pitama Deva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pitama Deva. Om Jai Ganesha Hari Deva. Jai Ganesha Hari Deva. Jai Ganesha Hari Deva. Hari Deva Shri Mahadeva. Hari Deva Shri Mahadeva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pitama Deva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pitama Deva. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Teri Parvati Pitama Deva. Om Jai Ganesh, remover of obstacles. This evening we gather into the space of trying to find forgiveness. Forgiveness for another person is a very worthwhile and beautiful thing to explore. Trying to forgive ourselves, that's sometimes the much harder journey to go on. Pahi Pahi Gajanana. 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 Pahi Pahi Lord Ganesh, remover of obstacles, please help me and those who are gathered here with me, either now on this live stream or who are watching it later. Please bless our journeys home to ourselves and bless the ability to forgive ourselves. May everyone watching tonight find peace, find self-acceptance, and find joy. May they come home to themselves. Why do we show so much more grace for other people? For other people, willing to assume the best about them, the best about their intentions, or willing to say, oh, they probably meant well. But for ourselves, we seem to hold ourselves to a much higher standard, don't we? We tend to think that we should be flawless, that we shouldn't make mistakes, that we should do better all the time. And when we do slip up, when we do something that wasn't in our highest good or best interest, we tend to berate ourselves, chastise ourselves, sometimes even flagellate ourselves with a literal, or maybe hopefully not literal, but proverbial whip. We tend to demand excellence. At least I know I have felt that way often in my life. And maybe it's because of our parental upbringing, parents who demanded a lot of us. But maybe it's just a quality of being in a modern day American or living in a nation with puritanical roots that demanded a lot. Self-forgiveness is a hard-won skill. And by skill, I mean something that requires practice, cultivation, rehearsal. Because even if you say the words, I forgive myself for things, how often do you stay up at night regretting, thinking how you could have done something differently, wishing you'd have done better? How often are you unwilling to truly let the past go and move on? I think it's so easy to keep replaying old tapes and old discussions and old actions and say, I should have said blank, I should have done blank, I should be blank. And there's nothing at all wrong with striving to improve and to be better and try to live a conscious life where we evolve and make better choices in the future. But so long as we stay in this space of self-flagellation, we're not giving ourselves room to grow. We're focusing on the negative, or focusing on the mistakes, not the actions we can take to improve. So what benefit does it give you to hold on to these past things? What good does it give you? One of my favorite sayings that I fully willingly acknowledge that I stole from Brene Brown is, we can never shame ourselves into lasting positive change. Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I agree. We can never shame ourselves into lasting change. Right, it works for a short while. You can shame yourself into something for a few days, but negative reinforcement never creates a positive outcome. So if we want to improve, if we want to be better people, then we need to move on. And we need to let go of what came before. And we need to find forgiveness for ourselves more so than everyone else. Because if you can truly enter a state where you forgive, truly forgive, and move on, then you're going to be able to better extend that generosity to others. And I think we all want to be that kind of person. We want to be that kind of person who is beneficent of spirit, who is generous, who moves on and gives back and says, no, it's okay, don't worry, we're all good. So it has to start with you. And I know for myself, there have been times where I've said things very unkindly, or where I spoke and I should have held my tongue, not considered how somebody else would have perceived something. Even this afternoon, someone said something to me, and my husband noticed it right away. I got kind of a little bit triggered by it because of past experiences. And I spoke right away and didn't realize that the person to whom I was speaking didn't have the benefit of the context from which this experience was coming. I gave a kind of forceful reply, and they didn't know why I was getting so triggered. They didn't know the story behind it. A friend of mine had offered to pass along a copy of my book to someone they collaborate with who is rather well known. And he was like, oh yeah, well, he said that he's, he'll offer you some feedback and criticism about what you wrote. And with my background as a professional artist, I have had a few instances in my life where unasked for criticism has shown up and torn me a new butthole. And taken something that I spent hours and hours and weeks and months and years sometimes, and just been like, and I wasn't looking for feedback, I wasn't looking for criticism, they just offered it. They just offered it point blank. And one of the things I had to learn to do as an artist was to say, if I'm looking for feedback, if I'm looking for critique, I'm going to let you know I'm looking for it. I'm going to let you know in what ways I'm looking for it. And I'm going to create a structure to support that experience. But I also know when those moments are and who those people are that I want to listen to, because everyone's got an opinion. And that way I'm able to protect my well-being. So I've become a fierce protector of the places and times in which I accept critique and criticism. Because for those of you who've ever lived in the arts, you know that everyone's got an opinion, right? Hey, even on YouTube, right? Look, just read the comments on any of my videos. Everybody's got an opinion. A lot of them are very nice. Some of them tell me how I should be doing things very differently. My mother tells me to put a shirt on. She's got an opinion too. And so in this phone call today, this friend of mine received my response, which is, oh, I'm not looking for critique. Thank you, though. I just wanted you to pass it along. Much blessings, but I really don't want to hear their opinion about that. And they were caught a little off guard. And since then, I mean, right, hindsight, it's not that big of a thing, but it was they were going out of their way to help me, and then I kind of responded harshly when they said that they had done so. I could have paused. I could have noticed that I was having an emotional response. I could have done better. And I did call and apologize and said, yeah, I could have done better. But even though I went and apologized to him, I noticed in myself, I still feel disappointed in myself. I still feel like, Kay, you were capable of more. That was a moment of a lot of emotion. Why didn't you do better? And I hold myself to a very, very high standard. So for the last few hours, I've been sitting in that experience. And while I think it is important for me to reflect and see how I can improve, I don't think it's of benefit for me to continually to feel bad about the experience. Because in that moment, right, I did the best that I was able in that moment. Could I have done better? Yes. Now that I have awareness, I could do better. But it does me no good to still stew about it. The best thing I can do for myself is to say, hey, you did okay. No one died. Move on. Next time you'll know you need to approach it differently. And then let it go. And this is a small thing. This is something that my friend will forget about probably in a few hours. How about those big things? How about those life-changing moments? Or a moment where somebody maybe got very hurt because of your actions. Those are harder things to forgive yourselves for. What if you were driving drunk one night and severely hurt someone in a car accident? What if you stole something from someone that was very important to them? What if you cheated on an exam that got you a really good grade that then gave you opportunities that weren't rightly yours? What if it's some of that bigger stuff? What if you lied to your partner? cheated behind their back. That's harder. But even those things, to move on and heal, yes, you need to reflect and think how you could do differently in the future, but beating yourself up over it doesn't do you any good. You have to move on. You have to work through whatever is holding you back. You have to release it and let it go. And you have to find self-forgiveness. So I want that to be the theme of our meditation tonight. So please get comfortable. You can sit upright, you can lay down. Do what feels best for you. You can close your eyes or take a soft gaze downwards. And let's just take a couple audible sighs together. So inhale through the nose, exhale out of the mouth, sighing. Notice how you're feeling. Notice what emotions are going on for you. Notice where you feel any sense of constriction when those thoughts come to mind about needing to have done better, needing to have done more. Do you feel it in your gut? Do you feel it in your heart? Do you feel it in your shoulders, your forehead, your butt? Maybe your butthole's really clenched, you need to let it go. If you feel any tightness, breathe into that space. Feel the prana, the life force, traveling into that space of restriction, and then exhale, try to let it untie itself, let it dissolve. Do that again. Breathe into any restriction you feel and exhale, let it release. When an emotional event happens, we have some sort of corresponding physical event. The brain and the body are not separate entities. Where one goes, so goes the other. And so sometimes when we work on the physical sensations, it helps us work through the emotional as well. So notice where you feel that holding. And then feel the breath. Let it open and dissolve. Sigh if you need to, if that feels right. Forgive yourself for not being a better partner, a better son or daughter of your parents, a better parent of your children, for not being a better friend, a better student, a better teacher, a better lover, a better whatever, better worker. You are where you are. And while we can take strides to improve, we can never be anywhere else other than where we are. So give yourself some acceptance of just being in this space. Allow yourself to feel your shame, allow yourself to feel your sorrow, your disappointment, your feeling of maybe even betrayal of yourself. Better human, agreed. Oh. Allow yourself to feel those difficult feelings and try to maintain a space of equanimity, that you're neither pulling those feelings in and saying, yes, these are my truth, and you're also not shoving them away and say, I am not feeling regretful. Just be with your experience without judgment, without needing to change it or fix it or fade it or hide it or whatever. Just be with it. And say, isn't that interesting? Interesting. Interesting. And then try to breathe into your belly. We hold a lot of emotion in our belly and our abdomens. See if you can get it to relax and move and breathe. And then from here, I think our next job is to root ourselves into our highest self, our most evolved, most enlightened, most healed self, and say, this is the space that is my truth. The mistakes I make do not define me. I am a creature of bliss, a creature of light, a creature of peace and empathy and compassion and love and joy and ecstasy. That's who I really am. My mistakes do not define me. So I want you to envision a column, a big flood of white light coming from the heavens through your crown, into your body, and into your heart, filling you with radiance, filling you with your highest self. Breathe into every part of you and invite it to open. Invite every part of you to expand and fill with light. Fill with your truth. Fill with your inner sense of peace and belonging. Now, the interesting thing is, even though we feel like we're opening up to something, we're not opening up to anything that's outside of ourselves. We are just opening up to ourselves. So we're not rejecting parts of us and saying, oh, no, that smaller sense of me is wrong. That's the one that makes the mistake. I'm opening to something else, and that's who I really am. Not quite. We are doing nothing more or less than just being our true, authentic, integrated, enlightened selves. You're not becoming something different. You're not pulling in something other than yourself. You are just connecting with you. You are coming home to your truth that is already within. Because once we get past all the noise, all the garbage, all the limited blah, 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 we are enlightened, healed, perfect, radiant fragments of starshine. You are a piece of unfettered consciousness here on a cosmic adventure, an adventure that includes making mistakes, and an adventure that means doing things poorly and on occasion treating other people like shit. It's part of the game. Should we try to act with compassion? Yes. Should we try to do better? Yes. Should we try to always dwell in love and forgiveness? Yes. Will we sometimes make mistakes? Yes. Will we always be needing to improve? Yes. And that's beautiful. We need to see the perfection in the imperfections. To know that even when we're a schlub, and even when we don't go to the gym, don't get out of our sweatpants, don't cook us that healthy meal we know we should, and instead eat Chipotle again, that it's okay. That you can fully forgive yourself. Because so long as you continue to hate or judge or malign parts of you, it's going to be very hard to be whole, because you're sectioning those parts off. Instead, I invite you to embrace all of yourself. I invite you to come home to all of your magnificent, complicated self. Pleasure. You are radiant. You are life embodied in flesh. You can never be separated from God, consciousness, Gaia, whatever you want to call it, because you are consciousness. You are God, you are Gaia, you are Allah, Jesus, whatever you want to call her. You are all of these things, and they are you. So embrace your divine nature, and see that in the comparison of the profundity of the consciousness that created the universe. What are these little things that we regret? How puny are they? How much of a little pittance are they compared to the grand scheme of things? I mean, you are the same life force that created galaxies, stars, planets, oceans, whales. You made whales. Do you think they really care that you didn't go to the gym last week? Forgive yourself. Move on and let it go. It's all a great big game anyway. We're all just here for the ride, for the joy of it. And these things that you call mistakes are sometimes nothing more than the seasoning added to the dish of life to make it more flavorful and interesting. Let it go. Let it go and come home to you. Feel that white light that is traveling in through you. Feel it pooling in your heart and expanding outwards. Feel it down in your loins, down in your pelvis, in your sex chakra. Feel it expanding outwards. Feel it in your third eye, in the crown, in your throat, in your belly, in your tailbone. Feel like your whole body suffused with a radiant light. You are a being of pure magic, pure light, pure consciousness, pure bliss. Let everything else go. Inhale, take a deep breath in. Exhale, whatever vestiges of what you're holding on to, shake your hands and just catapult them away. Inhale, pure cleansing energy. Exhale, anything you're regretting, just send it away. How you treated your mother. How you forgot to feed the cat. How you hit that person and you probably should not have. How you yelled at yourself. How you were unkind to yourself. How you should have treated yourself better. How you are the greatest love. You are capable of so much. And you've held yourself back. Let that go too. Let it be okay to be you. In all your complexity. In all your quirks and contradictions. May you find peace inside. Let us sit in silence. Let us sit in silence for a few moments and absorb. Follow your breath. shanti shanti. Peace be to you, peace be with you, peace be of you, peace be shared by you, peace surround you. May you know light and love and happiness. May you be blessed beyond measure. May your life be radiant and full of love, laughter, joy, and ecstatic moments. May you seek and find peace. May you share peace. May you be of peace. May you know yourself. May you know another person to the depth of their soul. May you find love, light, happiness everywhere you go. May you dwell in your highest and deepest inner self. May you know that you are one of the brightest stars in creation because you are on the journey back home to yourself. You're going through your awakening process, the very fact that you are here right now. You are reconnecting and rejoining with your divine heritage. So how blessed are you? And the universe is conspiring to bring you to your greatest good. Let go. Let joy fill you. May you know your worth. May you know peace. And may you at the same time know ecstasy. Thank you so much for sharing space and time with me this evening. A really cool announcement to share tonight. Based on feedback I've gotten from people, I've had a lot of people asking me what are some next steps to go a little bit deeper on the journey home to oneself, and I've taken that to heart and thought about it for months and decided to launch a Patreon so that there's a way for you to just get a little more one-on-one engagement, find a little more contact, a little more resources. So my next video I post, my edited video, is going to be about that, but I enthusiastically recommend checking it out online if that's something that you think would interest you, to get weekly and daily updates on things to work on, ideas, perspectives. Just going a little bit deeper than we go here on YouTube. So something to check out if you're so inclined. You're very welcome. Thank you, Rich. I'm so glad it was meaningful to you. And as always, know I'm always here as a resource in any way you need. So please feel free to reach out to me via social media or an email or through my website. Know I'm always available to connect, and I'd love to hear your stories. And also available always for one-on-one work if that's something that you feel called to. My website is ecstaticself.com. And also feel free to always check out my book, Journey to the Ecstatic Self. That's a really great resource as well. But my goal is to just try and give you guys things, give you as much as I can that you will find useful to take and run with, that you feel like you are firmly on your own path, on your journey, headed in the right direction home. Because that's where we're all headed eventually. So thank you for taking time out of your busy life to come and sit with me this evening. It's a pleasure to share space and time to connect. And I'm always here for whatever you need. So thank you, my brothers and sisters and gender fluid siblings. Thank you for being here. It's a privilege. Namaste.